Let me talk to you, let me talk to you, let me talk to you. You've been acting different lately, your mind is out of focus too. Tell me what's wrong with you, I cannot.
Hey guys, so I went ahead and did her eyebrows off camera because we were just trying to get the lighting and everything right, with this being my first client tutorial. And now I'm just using a Maybelline concealer as an eyeshadow base. So I'm just taking a dark purple shade from my Juvia's Place palette. I don't remember the name of the palette because I received it as a gift the same day that I filmed this video. But it's just a dark purple shade. And I'm just taking that color and building it up in her crease using tapping motions. I like to use this method opposed to like windshield wipers because I feel like you lose color with the windshield wipers, whereas when you're tapping it in, you're getting it full pigment. And then I'm just doing the same exact thing on the other eye, just tapping it in. So right now I'm just taking a lighter purple shade from a different Juvia's Place palette, and I'm just using it to blend out the edges of that darker shade. And I'm using the same technique, I'm just tapping it in. But I am moving in an upward motion because you don't want those colors to sit on top of each other. You want them to really blend and become one. And I'm just gonna go to that other eye and do the same exact thing. Just tapping that color in kind of an upward motion. And you really have to like trust the process when it comes to eyeshadows, especially when you're doing a cut crease, because it can look crazy at first, but it's gonna turn out so pretty. And right here, I'm just going back in with that first shade and just adding some depth to that crease before I cut it. Right here, I'm just cutting her crease. I'm using a brush from MAC. I can't remember the number on the brush because I've had it for a long time. And I'm also using the lightest shade from LA Girl Pro Concealer. And there's more than one way to cut a crease. On this eyelid, I'm kind of just freehanding it and just letting the brush lead me. There's nothing wrong with that, especially if you're really good with cut creases. I'm kind of mid, so you'll see me use a different method on the other eye. And I'm going back in with that purple because that concealer did a lot of sliding and moving, and I was just trying to clean the crease up. And the technique that I'm using to cut her crease on this eye is a technique that I learned from Beauty by Melissa. And you pretty much just outline where you want your crease to be cut, and you just go in and fill it in. This method of doing a cut crease was a lot easier and way less time consuming, which you'll see in the video. And right here you all can see that the concealer like smeared again. So instead of just trying to fix it with the eyeshadow, I just expanded the cut crease because that was way less time consuming. And I originally wanted to do like a very colorful look, but when I saw how the purple bled through that concealer, I decided to just go with a glittery cut crease. And right here I'm just using a shimmery rose gold color from one of my Juvia's Place palettes, just as a base for my glitter to stick to. And you can see that I'm kind of leaving the tail of that cut crease open, and that's because I'm just going to drag that purple in. And for her inner corner, I'm just going in with like a silver metallic looking shade, and that's where I laid the silver glitter. And I'm just using some Duo Lash Glue for the glitter glue. It's the glue in the white and green bottle. And so I just used a flat brush to pick that glitter up with, and I went ahead and did this first eye so that the glue wouldn't get like too tacky. I'm using the same brush to add my silver glitter. I just flipped it over, and towards the end I'm just going to mix those glitters together. And right now I'm just going in with that same brush that I used for the crease color, and I'm just dragging it in and closing my cut crease. And you'll see that when applying this glitter, I tried to leave a little space close to like her lash line for me to do some eyeliner, because when you try to do eyeliner over glitter, it can get messy. So I just wanted to prevent that from happening. So I'm just taking a makeup removing wipe and just kind of cleaning up that glitter, and then going back and closing that other cut crease. And right here I'm just adding some pink to buff out those two purple shades. Right here I'm just priming her skin with some baby skin primer. And I use Maybelline Fit Me for her foundation. I can't remember the shade. I will do a better job in my next video of keeping up with this stuff. But this video was kind of short notice. But I'm just using that shade and I'm just laying it on. I feel like I use less product when I use this method of applying foundation, but I still get the same full coverage effect. And right here, it kind of looks like her face is much darker than her chest area, but I promise it wasn't. I think it was just the way that the lighting was set up. But I'm just using my Real Techniques foundation brush and buffing that into her skin. And right here, I'm just going to be using that same brush that I used to lay her foundation before I buffed it out. And I'm applying LA Girl Pro Concealer shade in Fawn for her highlight. And I like to go in with a shade just a tad bit lighter than the highlight shade. I think that was Warm Honey that I just went in with before I moved on to the contouring. And for her contour shade, I used Mahogany in the LA Girl Pro Concealer. And as you can see, I love like a high contour. I love a high cheekbone contour. And I'm doing her contour first because I want to give that highlight a little time to sit, because it spreads 10 times better after it's set for a while. And as you can see, I really like to tap all of my product into the skin. And that's the way that I'm doing her contour. I don't like to swipe it or anything. I just like to tap it in. And when I do her cheek contour, I move in an upwards motion, but when I'm doing her forehead, I kind of move towards her hairline. And y'all, just look at how that highlight is spread and how it's just blending in after setting. So pretty. Sometimes I blend out my highlight with a brush, but this time I use a beauty blender. I've actually been using a beauty blender a lot lately. I always felt like I lost product when I used the beauty blender, but now that I've been letting it sit before blending it out, it's actually been coming out really pretty. I know you all see me and her talking a lot because this is actually my friend, and so we just always have a lot to talk about every time we're together. I'm going in right here with my Sacha Buttercup powder to set her highlight. I'm usually a lot less heavy-handed on the powder, but the beauty blender picked up a lot of product for some reason. It doesn't take that much to get the same finish when you're using this powder. And I also like to bake her eyebrows a little bit at the front. And right now, I'm just sharpening up her contour. I didn't put any actual highlighter right there. And right now, I'm just taking a powder from Black Radiance and setting her contour. I consider what's going on in her eyes to be a little more on the dramatic side, so I wanted to kind of soften the look with her lips. So I'm just going in with Chestnut from MAC and lining her lips. I used a soft pink liquid lipstick on her lips. It's from Anastasia Beverly Hills, and I just went over that pink shade with a clear gloss. And instead of dusting off that powder that I used to bake, I like to just tap it in, ding ding ding, like I like to do everything. I just feel like it gives a better finish and it lasts a little longer. Right here, I'm just using a light brown eyeshadow to contour her nose. I prefer that over using the Mahogany from LA Girl Pro Concealer because it gets messy for me. And after blending that contour in, I'm just going to go in and pat the rest of that powder in. And right here, I sprayed the Beauty Blender with MAC's setting spray because I was kind of heavy-handed with that powder. And I just didn't want it to look ghosty, if you know what I mean. And then I'm just tapping that setting spray in. And I actually used 2 blush shades for this look. You'll see me go in first with a pink, and then the blush shade that I used after that was more so peachy. And right now, I'm going in with MAC's Gold Deposit Highlighter. I've been using this highlighter for years because it's hard to go wrong with, especially in the summertime. And something that was edited out the video is the fact that I actually set her face a lot of times, but I had to edit out because I guess it was cold and she didn't react well. Okay guys, this was the finished result. She loved it. I hope you all did too. If you like this video and want to see more, just give me a thumbs up, comment, subscribe, and let me know.